Hello, my name is Jenan Kanono. I'm the team leader at Jonaki Holdings Limited, where we get to serve you. So if you have a financial challenge, if you have a money problem, if you want to scale up your business, we have you sorted. And you can always check us out at www.thejonakiholdings.com for money solutions. We are located in Tinda as our headquarters and at Mlago Business Center as our branch. Enjoy this video. Welcome on part one of looking out for any potential or possible encumbrances if you're using land title as a collateral. Because it's important that if you're lending out money, you ought to devise means on when you can recover it and how you can recover it. Because sometimes you lend money without being sure of whether you recover it or not. And that explains why people get out of business. Now, for the time I've been in this business, and for the years I've been in this business since 2012, I have come to realize that transacting on land is one of the riskiest things. Though land is good, it cannot move, but it is one of the most encumbered. And it has emotional attachment to it. When someone loses his land, it cannot move. So whenever he passes by that land, he knows he owned this place. So he cannot move it. So he ought to transact very carefully, with a mind not to take the land, with a mind not to take the building, with a mind not to take the home, but with a mind for affordability, and so that the client can recover or take back their home or take back their land. So I encourage those who are lending with a mind of not taking over people's buildings, that you desist from that, because you do not know how the client might react. The reaction could be bad, and it finishes you and the business. So it's important that you're mindful, especially if you're trading on land as a collateral. So you ought to look out for these four things amongst the many if you're going to transact on land or using land as a collateral. If the client comes to you, wants to use land as a collateral, there are key things you have to look out for. The first one is that it is important to know that there are some clients who intentionally bring land as a collateral with the intention to defraud you. Intentionally. They are fraudsters, he has land and he wants to use it as a collateral. And he knows he's not going to pay, because he can buy time in court, because he can buy time and he actually uses the money, and then you get frustrated and you write off the loan. So the first thing that you need to look out for is that sometimes the size of the land on ground is not commensurate to the size of the land on the title. So if the client comes for a loan, probably 100 million, and he brings his collateral, the land title, you owe to open the boundaries. Now, if you're not an expert, if you're not a surveyor, if you're not a land surveyor, I encourage you that you get a professional. I can't say this enough. I can't emphasize this enough. Because you're not a professional. There's a reason as to why someone studied for 3 years, land surveying, or 4 years, and came to actually do the actual work. He's a professional. He knows the nitty-gritties. He knows the details. He knows. So you owe to open the boundaries. Opening boundaries means you can ascertain that the value depicted on the title is the same value that appears on ground. I've seen scenarios of the land existing on site is 1 acre. The land existing on the title is 2 acres. So you wonder where the other acre went. Some of these titles are manufactured. The guy genuinely owns the land. The guy genuinely owns the title, but he has 2 titles. One is manufactured from NASA, and the other one genuinely comes from land office in Uganda. And he says, I'm going to borrow against the one that are manufactured from NASA. And for you look at the land, it says this is 2 acres, yet the land is 1 acre. This is 100 by 100, yet the land is 50 by 100. And because you've not opened the boundaries, the cadastre deed you cannot verify even the cadastre deed. You cannot even verify the existence of that land on ground versus what is on the title. And before you know it, you lend against the land which is 100 by 100. And lo and behold, the land is 50 by 100. And before you know it, the guy is selling the land. Before you know it, even when he can afford the loan, he says, I'm not able to pay, so you feel free to do what it is that you want to do on the land. And they even give you the transfer. It is when you go to sell the land that you're told the land is not 100 by 100. It is rather 50 by 100. It is rather probably 30 by 45. It could even be small by small margin, by small fraction, but it still matters. It still matters. The other key thing you have to look out for, graves on the land. Even if it is one grave, that's an encumbered land title. That's an encumbered land. You're not supposed to transact on that land. If it has a grave, it is encumbered. So you cannot afford to lend on such a land. So you can imagine if you don't go to visit the site, what happens then? You have not visited the site just because someone has a land title, he has given it to you, even if you put a mortgage on it. Because a mortgage cannot refuse to go there just because the land has a grave. Because the land office does not go to verify if the land has a grave or not. They don't even mind, they don't even care. So you ought to verify that the land has no encumbrances. Because if the land is encumbered, I kid you not, you can be in court for 10 years properly. So you need to go on ground and verify that actually the land has no grave on it. It is not encumbered. The grave is one of the serious encumbrances you can ever have on the land. So you ought to be critical on that. If there's anything that seems like a grave, don't transact on that land. The other key point that you have to look out for on encumbrance on a land, if you're going to transact on land as a collateral, it is important that you actually confirm that the land exists. Now, this might be shocking to you, but it's the truth. We have had some clients, the client comes to borrow, and truth be told, the land does not exist. The land does not exist. The guy has a land title, but the land does not exist. Sometimes the land has two titles. That's a different scenario. But this time, the land does not exist. The guy pays properly, pays for valuation, pays for boundary opening, pays for everything. The land does not exist. When you tell the person when you are going to visit the land, the guy says, no, I'm going to come tomorrow. You come the other day. Before you know it, the person disappears in oblivion because the land was not existed. The guy can even have the confidence to take you to a land which is on someone else's land. The land title specifies the area and everything, but it is not the actual area. We have had scenarios. The client pays everything, he has the land title, we go to a site, he takes us to the land, he shows us the land, exact size as was on the title looks genuine, but when the valuer goes to verify in land's office, the land does not exist. It does not exist on site. And before you know it, the client goes to try someone else. Some of these guys have made money from some other people. They want to try their luck. They want to kugezesa. He already has some free money from some other person that probably they have fleeced. So he wants to use land as a collateral. And you can imagine how you can fall in a ditch. So the land is not existent. So you need to verify. And for land, kindly take your time. Take your time to verify the land. And make sure you put the mortgage. We had one scenario. We lost about 70 million Uganda shillings. The client put us in a lot of pressure and we transacted before we put a mortgage. And on putting the mortgage bounces. Because the actual owner was different. The guy had forged the national ID, forged every detail, as you may know. We actually took this title and the register couldn't verify which title was original because the title looked as original as the actual title. So you can imagine. So you need to actually first put a mortgage on the land title before you transact on that land. It is very, very, very pertinent. Don't be on pressure. Be mindful of clients who come on Fridays. Trade carefully on land if you're using land title as a collateral. So observe those encumbrances and make sure every transaction you're doing on that land is free of those encumbrances. There are quite many, but for this particular part, I'm stopping it at that. Thank you for watching. Go and implement. Like, subscribe, share with a colleague. They could be helped. Alright, check us out on www.janakiholdings.com. And thank you so much for watching. God bless you.